Hello guys, July here again with another video, and it is one that I have been wanting to make for quite a while actually. So when Old School RuneScape was launched more than 7 years ago already, the game was a copy of what RuneScape was like on the 10th of August of 2007, right? So anything released after that cutoff date, if you want to call it that, would not be in the game. Now what if Old School RuneScape was a copy of an earlier date, so not the 10th of August of 2007, but maybe 1 month earlier or 2 months earlier or maybe even half a year? That would mean that certain content would not have made it into the live game, so into the live version of Old School RuneScape. So I know that lots of interesting content was added to the game shortly before the 10th of August of 2007. So I thought that this could be a very interesting video. So what we are going to do today is that I am going to move the cutoff date from the 10th of August of 2007 to 2 months earlier, so to the 10th of June, and then have a look at all the content that would not have been included in Old School RuneScape simply because it was released in those 2 months back in 2007. And just 4 days earlier, so on the 6th of August, there are already 2 big updates to mention. The first update is the release of the clan chat, or what is now called the friends chat in RuneScape 3. So just try to imagine, because when Old School RuneScape was launched in February of 2013, lots of clans migrated from RuneScape to Old School RuneScape. And imagine how difficult that transition would have been if they had to do it without the clan chat. Because by 2013, the in-game clan chat, so the actual clan chat and not the friends chat, had basically become the backbone of in-game interaction for all those clans. So yes, that would have been interesting to see how the community would have done without a clan chat in Old School RuneScape. Then as part of the same update, so still on the 6th of August, also the in-game interface changed, as you can see on the screen, with the old interface, and then we're mainly focusing on the buttons in the bottom row below the chat box area. There was not enough space for a clan chat tab, so Jagex needed to redesign it basically, and that's what they did. They also added the all button, so basically they improved the functionality, and I believe they also made the chat box a little bit bigger to allow 1 or 2 more lines of text, maybe 1 line. So those are 2 relatively big updates in just 1 day, and that's 4 days before the original date of Old School RuneScape. Then another 13 days earlier, so on the 24th of July, the party room was moved from Sears Village to Falador, alongside the release of the King's Ransom quest. I've actually made another video on why it was moved to Falador and not to another location, so maybe that's something you want to watch after this video. And then also together with the release of the King's Ransom quest is the release of the Piety Prayer as part of the, what's it called, Night's Waves training ground area or something like that. So anyway, and that was as most of you probably know, that was a very powerful prayer at the time, and it was basically what everyone would use if they were training Slayer or basically high-level combat with melee. So that's certainly important to include in this list. Then a week earlier, so on the 17th of July, the X option was added to quite a few activities, some of which are definitely interesting to list right here, such as the X option for mixing potions, for glass making, for stringing amulets, for making arrows, and also for some cooking activities that did not yet have an X option, such as cooking pies and pizzas. The X option for cooking fish already existed at the time, so if Old School RuneScape had used a date before the 17th of July, that would not have affected how you would be training cooking in the game, most likely anyway. Then another extremely interesting update happened on the 3rd of July, so then we are at minus 38 days, so Old School RuneScape date minus 38 days, and that's when Barbarian training was added to the game. That's interesting both for skilling and for combat. Let's begin with skilling. Barbarian training introduced heavy rod fishing to the game, and that was extremely interesting for the fishing community, or at least for the players who cares about XP gain more than about making money, right? So When Barbarian training was added to the game, it immediately became the best method to train the fishing skill in terms of XP rates. Before that update, the best way to train fishing if you just wanted XP was by using the fly fishing method for XP rates of anywhere between 35k XP and I think 50k XP, I'm not sure anymore. And the Barbarian heavy rod fishing method increased that to over 55k XP and I believe up to around 65k XP, maybe even a little bit higher if you combined it with high level alchemy or something like that. So that was quite a significant difference and therefore important for the fishing community. So then for the non-skilling part, so the combat part of the update, is the introduction of the Ancient Cavern with the game's first mithril dragons. So that was quite a big update, especially for Slayer, or for those who wanted to hunt after the new Dragon Full Helm, which was also included in that update as a new item. So that is all for July. Then in June there are two other interesting updates to mention. So the first one is on the 18th of June, so then we're at the date of Old School RuneScape minus 53 days. And that's when the Draconic Visage and the Dragon Fire Shield were added to the game. The Dragon Fire Shield pretty much immediately became an essential item for Slayer and for fighting dragons. So that was certainly a big update for the PvM community, as was the update that happened a week earlier on the 11th of June, so then we're at minus 60 days. That is when the Dark Bow was added to the drop table of the already existing Dark Beasts. The Dark Bow immediately became the best bow that was available, and it remained the best bow for several years, together with the Carol's crossbow from the Barrows minigame, which was another popular option at the time. So that concludes the list of content that would not have been in the game if Old School RuneScape had used the 10th of June as the cutoff date as opposed to the 10th of August. Of course, that does not mean that certain content would not have been added anyway. For example, I think we can say with reasonable certainty that Jagex would still have added the clan chat eventually. Maybe it would have taken some time to implement it. So I originally wanted to use the 1st of January of 2007 for this video, so that would mean the first 7 months and a few days. But as you can see, just 2 months of updates and there is already so much content, so much good content, so much useful content that we would have missed out on. So this video would have become way too long if I had gone all the way back to the 1st of January. Let me know in the comments, because if you want to, I can make a second part and then we go back all the way to the 1st of January. So let me know in the comments if you like this video and if that is something that you want to see as a part 2 of this video at some point in the future. But my next video will be a screenshot video again, where I show you some old screenshots that I have saved over the years. So thank you for watching, and then I will see you again soon.